Hi, it's your boy G Reels here to give you a little update on what's going on with Don't Worry Darling after it had its world premiere at the Venice Film Festival on Monday. Um, I kind of thought that some of the drama and messiness would die down because it was going to have this big, lavish world premiere at the Venice Film Festival. And, the studio might want to keep some of that stuff in check. And it seemed like things only got more weird and almost a bit out of hand. I mean, and I'm not just gonna say like in the real life situation. I think the media is blowing this up too, and like all these viral videos that are out there that are being analyzed and just kind of like looked at in a way that we probably shouldn't be looked at like too closely and just looking for something to be wrong. That are kind of traveling all over Twitter and like TikTok and everything. I think that it's a little much, but I also think there is some truth to what's going on with these alleged feuds and all that stuff. So we're gonna jump into that. So as you know, like quick kind of recap is there's a lot of drama surrounding the movie because going back to when the film was announced, we had Shia LaBeouf playing Harry Styles' role. And then it was announced that Shia LaBeouf was leaving the project over scheduling conflicts. And then we heard the news that Shia LaBeouf was allegedly fired. And then fast forward all the way to late August of this year, Olivia Wilde does a cover piece with Variety and doubles down on the notion that Shia LaBeouf was indeed fired from the film. And that very next day, Shia LaBeouf sends an email and various receipts to prove to all of us that he was not fired and that he indeed quit. And the video evidence that he provided where it seems like Olivia Wilde is begging him to stay on.
Shia, I just went riding my horse, very sweaty, but I wanted to reach out because I feel like I'm not ready to give up on this yet, and I too am heartbroken, and I want to figure this out. And I think this might be a bit of a wake-up call for Miss Flo, and I want to know if you're open to giving this a shot with me, with us. If she really commits, if she really puts her mind and heart into it at this point, and if you guys can make peace, and I respect your point of view, I respect hers, but if you guys can do it, what do you think? Is there hope? Is there hope?
All like kind of catty and petty, and I know a lot of people think that and think it's really childish. But here we are. This is what's going on. And the new update is that the film had its world premiere at the Venice Film Festival on Monday. It starts with a Q&A with the cast. Now, we were told that Florence Pugh was going to do minimal press for the film, but that she was going to do press at the Venice Film Festival. And that ended up being kind of true. She skipped the Q&A entirely. She wasn't there. So it was Olivia Wilde, Gemma Chan, Chris Pine, Harry Styles. They're all there, and they're fielding questions about the film until one journalist towards the end kind of addresses the elephant in the room and basically is like, why isn't your leading lady here? This is her film. This is a project that she's almost in every single frame of the movie. This is her moment. Like, why isn't she here? And Olivia Wilde almost uncomfortably had to address it.
Florence is a force, and we are so grateful that she's able to make it tonight despite being in production on Dune. I know as a director how disruptive it is to lose an actor even for a day, so I'm very grateful to her, grateful to Denis Villeneuve for helping us, and we're really thrilled we'll get to celebrate her work tonight. I can't say enough how honored I am to have her as our lead. She's amazing in the film. And as for all the endless tabloid gossip and all the noise out there, I mean, the internet feeds itself. I don't feel the need to contribute. I think it's sufficiently well-nourished.
Then after that, a journalist gets more pointed and tries to ask about the Shia LaBeouf video receipts about him not being fired. And the moderator cut that question like right away.
This question's to Olivia, sorry.
Question has been answered. So
It's a separate section. It's about Shia LaBeouf. And
I think this question has been answered
Really?
when she talked about the internet. Yeah, done there. Thank you.
So the Q&A, it's over. And then if you were actually on social media and looking at Florence Pugh's page, it seemed like she had been in Venice like well before the Q&A. It wasn't like she was going to get there later because she was filming Dune Part 2. It could only make it to the red carpet and to the screening. There's like pictures of her like sipping on Aperol Spritzes in her hotel room, getting ready with her, her costume designer who designed a really beautiful dress for her to walk the red carpet in. It seemed like she was there, and then it became very obvious that she skipped the Q&A because of whatever issue might be. If the issue is with Olivia Wilde, it's with Olivia Wilde. If it's about discussing the sex scenes, she doesn't want to do that, or she doesn't feel comfortable about something. And a Q&A is less controlled than kind of walking the red carpet. You can kind of like walk away when you're doing interviews on the red carpet, or like kind of dismiss the question on it. In a Q&A, it's a little bit harder, even though they have moderators to shut that stuff down. Like, press can be a little bit more aggressive about asking certain questions during the Q&A. So it makes sense that she would want to skip it if there's something about it that makes her feel uncomfortable. Fast forward to walking the red carpet. She looks amazing. It seems like she has no issues with the supporting cast, because there's all these videos of her hugging and embracing like Nick Kroll, Jim Chan, Chris Pine. It seems like everything is sunshine and roses with all those guys and girls. And there was even a moment where the paparazzi is just taking pictures of Florence, like basically trying to get the best image of her. And Chris Pine, jokingly with a disposable camera, is also doing this whole like work with me baby kind of thing as a joke. And she's laughing, and like everything seems pretty like copacetic with them. But then the cast has to take a group photo, and the group photo also includes Olivia Wilde and Harry Styles. And there's clearly actors spaced in between Florence and Olivia, so they're not close to each other. They also kind of talked about how Harry and Olivia weren't that close to each other either, but I don't think that's because they're breaking up. They could be, I'm not sure. I think that's more because they're in a relationship and they don't want to distract from what's going on with the film, because there's already a lot going on behind the scenes. But you can tell in like the photo, even like they had to take it. It doesn't look as fun or as loose as the previous photos with some of the supporting cast. It seems like there is some kind of weird tension there. Also, okay, so we get into the actual screening itself, which begins this whole thing we're going to call Spitgate. Harry Styles gets announced to walk in and take his seat next to Chris Pine. And when he walks in, it looks like he kind of spits on Chris Pine. And they actually have different angles of this where it does look like he spits on him. But then once I watched it some more and watched it multiple times, it was like, no, it's not like he hawked a loogie and spit. It was almost like he had something in his mouth and like almost like spittle came out. I'm not sure if it was like on purpose, but clearly it looked like something landed on Chris Pine and he didn't really like it. But the thing is, the reps for Harry Styles said, no, he did not spit on him. That's not true. It's a total fabrication. But then TMZ was like, oh, we talked to someone that is a source that knows Chris, and he said he did spit on him and wasn't happy about it. But then Chris's reps came out and said, no, he did not spit on me. It's a total fabrication. So both sides have said there was no actual spit. And even if there was, I think they just kind of want to have that not be another moment added to the drama surrounding this movie at the moment. And then, by the end of the screening, the movie gets like a 4-minute standing ovation. Another thing that people are paying attention to is this like viral video during the standing ovation. You have Florence Pugh getting a lot of the attention. Like, it's her moment. They're clapping for her. Olivia Wilde's trying to make eye contact with her, but Florence Pugh isn't making eye contact with her. So a lot of people are kind of breaking down that moment as like that's proof that they're not getting along. And if anything, I mean, I didn't read into that moment too much. I thought she was just taking in her moment and enjoying it. But, she did embrace Nick Kroll and the people that were immediately next to her. So who knows? It could be that she doesn't want to really associate with Olivia Wilde. Is just trying to get through whatever limited press tour she wants to do for the movie. I also said in my last video that what would combat all this drama and messiness is if the movie's actually good. And it's not as if the movie got scathing reviews after its screening. They were just more decidedly mixed. Even in the mixed reviews, though, all of the critics who have seen it already said this is Florence Pugh's movie. She deserves all the praise that she's getting. Some even said she could get an Oscar nomination if the competition isn't too steep. They're saying it's like one of her best performances so far. And so that's great for her. I think it makes the situation more upsetting that whatever is going on where she is doing limited press and isn't talking much about, the film itself, to have her moment kind of messed up by all this other nonsense doesn't seem fair to her. But it is good that she is getting the accolades that she most likely deserves. And, Olivia Wilde's getting credit for some of the visual cues that she makes and some of the choices she makes as a second-time director. The cinematography is getting some praise, as well as the costume design for all the 1950s inspired costumes and everything. And they said that they really get the look of the era right. The main issue seems to be with the film's third act and the film's script, which they said kind of ruins its chances to be a true Oscar contender down the line this award season. They think, if anything, Florence Pugh might have a shot, maybe a shot with costume designing, but they said there's too many issues with the script in the third act for it to really break out the way that it needs to. I'm so excited to see it. I still think it looks really good, but I was really hoping for more promising notices coming out of the Venice Film Festival, but I am happy they're not like completely scathing. And but it is interesting that like the one thing that I think could have calmed this down is like, well, there's drama, but they made a great film, and now that might be up in the air. Of course, we don't have all the critical reviews yet. A lot of early press screenings are going to take place very soon. I learned right before this video that Florence Pugh will not be showing up for another Q&A in New York on September 19th because they said she's filming Dune Part 2. But again, both Warner Brothers movies, I would think that they would want their leading lady to promote their latest release. So I don't entirely buy that it's because she's filming another movie. I still think that there is something going on that makes her not want to participate in these Q&As and like where she's going to be asked a lot of questions. I think she's protecting herself, and rightfully so, if she feels like uncomfortable in the situation. But I don't know, all this stuff has just gotten messier and weirder. And I even commented on like the Harry Styles video with Chris Pine where he's trying to describe the movie by calling it a movie and a film, and Chris Pine just looks like he's head down and just kind of like, what is going on? Like, there's so much weird madness that some of it's drama, some of it is so ridiculous that it's like, what else can happen with this movie? Like a lot of people have said, I think the movie about the making of this movie would be really good at this point. I would kind of love to see that. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Is like, what did you guys think about all the stuff that kind of happened after the Venice Film Festival with the film? Do you think there's more drama going on? Do you think it's just publicity to kind of, rev up the box office a bit? Whatever you guys think, let me know in the comments, and let's start a conversation. Peace.